Dr. Kirby is an assistant professor at Norfolk State University, which is an HBCU located in Norfolk, Virginia. She is a mass communications professor and advisor at Norfolk State University and has taught a whole host of classes, including public speaking, film, copy editing, and really anything under the sun as it relates to communications. And also, Dr. Kirby is the only person that can make a whole room of people cry during her dissertation defense. Dr. Kirby is passionate about educating the next generation of Black leaders, and that's why I'm so happy she's here today to talk about the importance of HBCUs in the tech space. So please welcome Dr. Kirby to the stage.
So, one interesting thing about the relationship that I have with Elisa is that I don't think there's ever been a public forum that I've had to be a part of and she's had to be a part of and I didn't say some nice things about her. And so I'm gonna try not to start my remarks with, what I call bigging her up, but it's gonna happen at some point. Because that speaks to the nature of our relationship. So, but first, before I begin, I want to thank Public Knowledge and also, here I go giving you a compliment. I also want to thank Elisa for inviting me in this space to talk about something that I'm so passionate about. And the reason why I'm so thankful is because if you know Elisa Valentine, she is not one that mixes words. And so if she asks you to do something, it's because she knows that you are capable and she sees something in you. And even though Elisa is younger than I am, it means a lot for someone who has the conviction that she has, who is the person that she is, and who has the character that she has, to ask me to come from Norfolk, Virginia, to come in and make some remarks. So thank you. As Elisa mentioned, I am very passionate about HBCUs, and as a graduate of two HBCUs, Hampton and Howard University, and as an educator who educates at Norfolk State University, another HBCU, I have a deep love and appreciation for the mission and societal contributions of HBCUs. And keeping in mind the title of today's beautifully organized event, Emerging Technology for Social Change, I can't help but to think about the role that HBCUs play in the overall quest for social change. Most HBCUs were founded after the Civil War during the Reconstruction era. These schools were established to educate and liberate freed slaves. So you see, the very existence of HBCUs are a direct result of social change. And those of us who serve at HBCUs are passionate about social change. And notice I said the word passion, or passionate rather. And the interesting thing about passion is that it's energetic. And like energy, it has the ability to bounce from one person to the next, to the next. So at HBCUs, in every class, every assignment, every discussion, every project, HBCU faculty pass on the passion for social change. Because of this specialized social change approach to education, HBCUs produce social change agents who serve our world, our country, and our communities, past and present. HBCU great minds like Thurgood Marshall, W.E.B. Du Bois, Andrew Young, Booker T. Washington, Ida B. Wells, John Lewis, Stacey Abrams have all played a part in shaping and inspiring cultural shifts in this country. HBCUs are incubators for politicians, doctors, lawyers, scientists, and tech policy advocates. These incubators specialize in embracing cultural differences of our fellow man and teaching its students how to make the world a better place, utilizing gifts, talents, intellect, and love for humanity. At HBCUs, we preach that everyone should have the right and access to a quality life, and that the oppressed and marginalized can be empowered to overcome oppression with education. We teach self-love, and that love you develop for yourself and the love that you develop for your culture that you represent should be shown to others. And most importantly, and we uphold and we honor and we place above anything else what is good, what is right, and what is just. Now, I know what you may be thinking. These institutions sound like places where forward-thinking companies should be recruiting. And I think so too. However, the reality of the matter is that it doesn't happen as often as it should, especially in the tech industry. Now, there are companies who have HBCU recruitment programs to become more diverse and inclusive, but as someone who works on a UNCF grant to help more HBCU grads gain employment, I can tell you that more can be done. So why don't companies seek HBCU grads? So in my experience of sitting down with employers and discussing employment opportunities for students and graduates, I find that people tend to lump themselves in one of three categories. Category one. Those in this category understand the wonderful potential, culture, and unique abilities of HBCU students, and we love the folks in category one. They tend to give our students opportunities. They tend to reserve seats at tables. We love them. Category two. Those in this category are not really aware of the great things that HBCUs have to offer, so we take the time to share our story. We give them examples, and we just introduce them to HBCUs and HBCU culture. We love them as well. And then there's category three. This category is familiar with HBCUs, however, they're familiar with what I like to call the HBCU counter narrative. This narrative promotes the rhetoric that HBCUs provide an off-brand education, that our graduates aren't ready, that our graduates aren't prepared, and ultimately that our graduates are not worthy of employment at their companies. So I offer the notion that category three is a blind category. They lack vision. Because if they had the ability to see, they look around and notice examples that would disprove this counter narrative. And this is the thing, they wouldn't have to look far. Turn on your TV, open a magazine, log on to social media. For example, if category threes were here today, they would walk in and be absolutely impressed by the nature of this event. An event planned by an individual who received her PhD from an HBCU, Elisa Valentine. And I just believe that if the category three asked anyone who worked for public knowledge about Dr. Valentine, PK folks would tell them that she's an intelligent, tenacious, fearless advocate who's not afraid to speak truth to power, and that's put it mildly. I believe that they would say that Elisa has brought innovative ideas and that she is refreshing, and she's brought a refreshing sense of passion to their organization. And if they couldn't tell you that, I could. If category threes took a seat around this area beside Elisa Valentine, they would have the pleasure of sitting next to my friend, Leanne Evans. Leanne, I've known her since her freshman year, or our freshman year rather, at Hampton University. And if they sat beside her and had the opportunity to converse with her, they would realize that she's a warm-hearted person, she has a kind heart, she's hardworking, and she has this innate ability to connect with anybody, regardless of who they love, how they think, how they speak, and who they pray to. They would also find that at Hampton, she was one of few women who chose to be a computer science major. They would also find that a non-category three company invited her to be an intern over a decade ago. And now she serves as a senior management function at that same organization she interned with over 10 years ago. See, Leanne was able to understand the tools that she would need in order to make it into the tech company. But then she showed something special that was cultivated at her HBCU. Soft skills and how to communicate with people across cultures. And that allowed her to become a great manager. So those are the things that we teach at HBCUs. And if someone needed to see a current student or a current example of a student, I tell them to pull up a chair next to Jalen. Jalen used her knowledge of technology, her knowledge of font style, her knowledge of communicating, and all of the other wonderful things that she learned at Howard University to win a logo competition at Public Knowledge. And if I knew more people in this room, I could probably go around and find some examples of HBCU grads that would negate that HBCU counter narrative, and I just met one before I even walked up. Hey, you. You know? Sorry, definitely wasn't playing that. So now for what I consider to be the most important part of my remarks. There's work that needs to be done. Black students and Black graduates, whether you attended an HBCU or not, deserve seats at decision-making tables in technology. We bring a unique cultural lens and cultural sensitivity that influences organizations to take a good look at themselves and self-judge the principles that guide them and how these principles aid and hinder marginalized groups. And so lastly, I'll simply say, if you're able, or if you ever have an opportunity, please create and or advocate for spaces for talented Black minds. Thank you, Public Knowledge, for allowing me to come and share my love for HBCUs, and I look forward to enjoying the rest of today's events. Thank you.